Hello, good morning. It's another beautiful Saturday morning here in the capital. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment, and you're welcome to the Sports Rally. Well, today I will definitely be doing the show with my top pundits in the studios, as well as Jonathan Bensua. Well, on today's show, we will definitely be reviewing the UEFA Champions League first leg quarterfinal games that were played in midweek. Tuesday and Wednesday was electrifying in Europe. But then, will there be a remontada in Spain? Real Madrid are down but not out yet. What happened in London? How did the European champions capitulate in London? We'll be delving deep into the issues that happened in midweek with regards to that game between Real Madrid and then Arsenal in London. Meanwhile, Inter Milan picked the best results of midweek after traveling to Germany to secure a win, but it is certainly not over in that tie. Away from the UEFA Champions League, we head to England, where there have been some positive developments at Liverpool. Finally, it is confirmed Mohamed Salah will be staying at Liverpool next season. Well, did any of you see that reaction from Ola Aina? Yes, he believes that it is over for the other teams if Mohamed Salah is really staying in the English Premier League for another season. A decision is also close for defender and captain of Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk. Still in England, there will be games in the Premier League, even though it looks like Liverpool have run away with the title. But then there are some crucial games that will be coming up, and so we'll definitely be looking at those matches this weekend. We'll also cross over to the La Liga, where there will be games in the Spanish Top Flight League. And apart from the La Liga, there is also the case of the French League. Well, that league has already been wrapped up. Paris Saint-Germain have won the title again. They've been dominant this season. But then they are not just dominant domestically. They are also having a very fine campaign in the UEFA Champions League. Away from Europe, we move down here in Ghana, where 2025 will definitely be a busy year for the national teams. The Black Queens and the Black Satellites are preparing for continental championships. In July, the Black Queens will be in Morocco for the Women Africa Cup of Nations. While in some few weeks to come, the Black Satellites will also be in Egypt for the Africa U20 Cup of Nations. We'll be looking at the preparations of all these teams before their major tournaments. But then we can also not end this show without talking about the Ghana Premier League. There will be games for match day 27. Already Vision FC are talking big. They are making that game between them and Accra House of Folk a huge deal. And so we'll be looking at all these and many other on the show this morning. It is the Sports Rally right here on Z101.9 FM. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. But then the question today is quite simple. Will Real Madrid be able to turn that results from the first leg against Arsenal in the UEFA Champions League? Well, you can join us via the WhatsApp line 0544321019. 0544321019. Send in your messages and we will definitely be reading them on the show. You can also join us on social media, Facebook ZFMGH, where we are streaming live. You can also join us on X and on Instagram, ZFMGH. On YouTube and TikTok, it is Z Multimedia. Once again, welcome to the Sports Rally. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment, and very soon I will be introducing you to my guest on the show. Well, like we do it every Saturday morning, we'll be running you through the matches that are coming up in Europe, from the English Premier League to the La Liga, as well as the German Bundesliga. What is interesting is that apart from the French League 1 that has been wrapped up by Paris Saint-Germain, there is that case of the second spot in France. Today, AS Monaco will be facing Olympique de Marseille in the biggest game in France. And so we'll definitely be looking at that game. And in Spain, there will be games as well. It is not over yet. Last week, Real Madrid capitulated. They lost in their league game. But then Barcelona failed to take advantage of that, as they also drew in that match against Real Betis. So what it means is that Barcelona are just leading Real Madrid by 4 points. And we'll look at the dynamics of the Spanish La Liga. But then in England, a few more wins for Liverpool and it's over for Arsenal. But then Arsenal will definitely be giving Liverpool some hot chase in the Premier League. But apart from that too, there is also the case of which teams finish in the top 4. Newcastle United are in the running. There is also Manchester City. There is Chelsea. They are all fighting for a top 4 spot. And Nottingham Forest have not secured a place yet. But then we can confirm that for Liverpool and then Arsenal, it is certainly over with regards to making it into the top 4 next season. All right, so I have the guys. All right, so I have the guys with me in the studio. Good morning, Jonathan. How are you doing?
Good morning, Lukman. I'm doing good. Yeah.
Well, we also have Marvin in the studio. Marvin, how are you?
Good morning, I'm doing well.
It's been a very good week, right?
Exactly, a very, very good one.
Like Liverpool
fans without UCL saying it's a good one. I disagree.
I mean, with the extension of Mohamed Salah's contract, it is definitely good news for Liverpool fans.
And we all expected it, you understand? It's very good news. Together with Van Dijk as well.
Yeah, but Van Dijk is almost close.
Life without Salah would have been hell.
Really?
People were even thinking of Kudus and all that, but we like our Salah like that.
You like your Salah like that, all right. And we also have Teddy in the studio. Teddy, how are you?
Oh, please, I'm fine. I'm very good.
And how is your Chelsea doing?
Chelsea disappointed me, but we are still keeping.
You won 3-0 against Legia Warsaw.
I'm talking about the league because we failed to pick the 3 points against Brentford when Manchester City drew against Manchester United. So that's a big blow to us. But we hope to bounce back to grab the top 4 chance.
Wow. So you people don't even care about the Conference League.
No, we want to play in the Champions League.
But if you win the Conference League, you play in the Europa League.
No, we want to play in the Champions League.
Hey, you people, you have big ambitions. But then I'll allow Jonathan to run us through the games in the English Premier League, the La Liga, and then the other leagues. How are you doing? How was your week, actually?
My week was very fun, as a FC Barcelona fan. Everything is about football and sports. I saw my club, thumb Borussia Dortmund in the first leg. Something we've been yearning for. With sack coaches Xavi, Keke Setien, Ernesto Valverde for the first time in front of my eyes. From the defeat against Roma, Liverpool, Bayern 8-2. For the first time, we got German club and we were able to beat them 4-0. 4 unanswered goals.
So you're very confident about winning the UEFA Champions League?
Not only confident, even Opta will back me with statistics, 100%.
But then Opta have a different opinion about who wins it, right?
We Barcelona fans and Hansi Flick disagree with Opta this time around.
All right, you just run us through the games that are coming
up. So just as Chelsea fans are waiting to know their fixtures and also finding their way, not through the Conference League, but wants to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season through the top 4 spots in the English Premier League. League. Not only there, in the German Bundesliga, 2 fixtures will be happening there. So that league will be giving us rookie matches, and the big game will be that Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. We'll be looking at the fixtures, but first, arguably the best league in Europe, the English Premier League. 10 minutes to kick off. Manchester City will be hosting Crystal Palace. There, ahead of that game, Oliver Glasner talks about how confident they are to add more issues to Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola already are facing them. Also, Brighton and Hove Albion will be playing against Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester City, the club that has failed to score a home goal for their last 8 fixtures at the King Power Sports Stadium. Will be playing against Brighton and Hove Albion. And also, the fairy tale continues for Nottingham Forest as they will be hosting Everton. The toughest there. Southampton, Ivan Juric is no more. The assistant will be taking over. Southampton, the Saints, already know their destiny and their fate that next season they will be featuring in the Championship. But today, in the English Premier League, exactly 2 p.m., they will be playing against Aston Villa there. And also, Arsenal, the Gunners, will be hosting Brentford exactly 4 p.m. in the English Premier League today. We'll be moving from the EPL far away in France. Today, Olympique Marseille will be playing against AS Monaco. Toulouse will be hosting Lille Metropole, and also Strasbourg will be playing against OGC Nice. In the German Bundesliga, VfL Bochum will be hosting Augsburg. Hoffenheim versus Mainz 05, and also Holstein Kiel will be playing against St. Pauli. Bayer 04 Leverkusen will be playing against Union Berlin, while simultaneously we'll be having Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting Freiburg. And the final fixture in the German Bundesliga on Saturday today will be at the Allianz Arena between Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. From Germany, in the Italian Serie A, also Venezia will be playing against Monza. Inter Milan, Zaghi will be hoping that they will continue and extend their lead on top of the Serie A table with 3 points between them and Napoli. Inter will be hosting Cagliari, and also Juventus will be playing against Lecce in the Italian Serie A later tonight. In the Spanish La Liga, Santander, Real Sociedad will be playing against RCD Mallorca. Getafe versus UD Las Palmas. Celta Vigo will be hosting Espanyol. And the final fixture in the Spanish La Liga tonight, 7 p.m., will be between the league leaders FC Barcelona versus CD Leganes there. And also on Sunday, fixtures will be happening in the EPO once again, as Chelsea will be hosting Ipswich Town. Liverpool versus West Ham United, and also Wolverhampton Wanderers will be playing against Angie's side, Tottenham Hotspur. The big game on Sunday in the EPL will be the Magpies, Newcastle United versus Manchester United. There in the French Ligue 1, Saint Etienne will be playing against that Brestois, popularly known as Brest, and also Angers will be playing against Montpellier. Le Havre, mentioning Le Havre, Ghanaians know Captain Andre Ayew, not Jordan Andre, will be in that game. Then their previous game, he featured for 35 minutes. Andre will be hoping that in this game against Rennes, he will be featuring once again for the French side. And the final fixture, another Ghanaian will be missing out in this tie. Olympique Lyonnais will be traveling to play against Auxerre. So Auxerre will be having Gideon Mensah and also Elisha Owusu, players to watch as a Ghanaian over there. But unfortunately for the Lyonnais side, Niakati and Corentin Tolasso showed solidarity to Ernest Nuama in that tie in midweek against Manchester United. So Nuama won't be in the squad against Auxerre. On Sunday in the German Bundesliga, Stuttgart will be playing against Werder Bremen. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Heidenheim. On Sunday in the Italian Serie A, Calcio, Atalanta Bergamo will be playing big game against Bologna. Fiorentina versus Parma. Hellas Verona will be locking horns against Genoa. And also Como 1936, the Giant Killers, the newly promoted side, beating even the big clubs and taking points, sealing their slot in the Italian Serie A next season. Head coach Fabregas will be hosting another Turin club, Torino, and also Lazio will be playing against Roma. That's a local derby there in Italy. SS Lazio versus AS Roma. In the Spanish La Liga on Sunday, Osasuna will be playing against Girona. 2:15 on Sunday. Madridistas are hoping that comebacks will be happening, but they got defeated against Valencia over last week in the previous game in the Spanish La Liga. This week, Real Madrid will be playing against CV Alaves, far away from the Bernabeu. Betis will be playing against Villarreal, and the final fixture in the Spanish La Liga will be between Athletic Bilbao versus Rayo Vallecano. Player to watch will be the Inaki Williams, and also Mumin won't be in action for Rayo Vallecano since he's out injured for that side. These are the fixtures in the Spanish La Liga, and also the English Premier League, the French Ligue 1, the League of Talent, and the German Bundesliga, and the Italian Serie A Calcio.
All right, thank you very much, Jonathan, for the matches coming up this weekend in the European top flight leagues. I mean, from England to Spain to the Dutch, not the Dutch Eredivisie, but then the German Bundesliga. But then down here, there are matches that will be happening in the Ghana Premier League. Yesterday, Medeama SC thumped Dreams FC by 4-0. Kingsley Brahe scored a hat-trick for Medeama SC in that game. This afternoon at the Accra Sports Stadium, Accra Lions will be facing Basake Holy Stars. Nsoatreman FC, who are out of the league, they were supposed to face Nations FC, but that game has been cancelled, and so what it means is that Nations FC will have 3 points from that match. Karela United will be up against Aduana Stars. They will be welcoming them to the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium in Tamale. Vision FC, who are talking big, they will be facing Accra House of Oak tomorrow at the Tema Newtown Sports Stadium. That is the Nana AJ Chronomancer, the second park in Tema Newtown. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be welcoming Bechim United in the big game of the weekend at the Kumasi Babayara Sports Stadium. Well, the rest of the games for the weekend will say BBN Gold Stars engaging Young Apostles. Legon Cities will be up against FC Samatex in Accra, while Brecum Chelsea will be welcoming Heart of Lions in another cracking game in the Ghana Premier League. Yeah, so there are big games in the Ghana Premier League tomorrow, and so make sure you join the train by getting involved in our own local league. Well, before we even delve into the big stories, which is with the UEFA Champions League, we look at some transfer rumors in Europe. Now, Manchester United are setting an asking price for Rasmus Højlund. Well, Manchester United will only listen to offers for a region of £52 million for the Denmark striker Rasmus Højlund, with Juventus very interested in the 22-year-old striker. Now, Manchester City will have to pay £100 million if they want to sign Nottingham Forest and England midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White, who is 25-year-old this summer. Real Madrid will bid their time in their pursuit of Arsenal's French defender William Saliba, aiming to sign him on a cut price deal in 2026 or free transfer when his contract expires in 2027. Well, what this means is that Saliba is a future Real Madrid player. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim will hold clear the air talks with England forward Marcus Rashford this summer if the 27-year-old does not sign for Aston Villa permanently. Meanwhile, Manchester City are progressing in talks over a new deal for England under-20 midfielder Nico O'Reilly after Chelsea showed interest in the 20-year-old in January. Inter Miami are also close to an agreement with veteran Argentina forward Lionel Messi over a contract extension to keep him at the MLS club. And Tottenham Hotspur are considering making a permanent loan move for Bayern Munich and France under-21 forward Mathys Tel, but are not willing to activate the 50 to 55 million euros buy option clause in that deal. Real Betis midfielder Sergi Altimira will sign a new contract until 2029, despite interest from Manchester City in the Spaniard, whose deal will contain a 60 million euros release clause. Manchester United, Newcastle United, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham are all in the hunt for the 25-year-old Wolves and Brazil forward Matheus Cunha. Now, Liverpool and Netherlands defender Virgil van Dijk has agreed terms for a new contract with the club, which will sign him before the end of the current season. So yes, Virgil van Dijk is actually getting close to a new deal with Liverpool. But then the big issue this morning has to do with the UEFA Champions League, and this is where I get my guest involved in the conversation. Alright guys, welcome to the show once again. It is the UEFA Champions League. In midweek, it was actually some very interesting results there. We begin in France, where Paris Saint-Germain actually came back from a goal down to beat Aston Villa by 3-1. Barcelona defeated Borussia Dortmund by 4-0. Arsenal, Declan Rice, a master class performance from the English midfielder, as Real Madrid lost by 3-0. Real Madrid will be without Eduardo Camavinga in the second leg after he got a red card in that game. Bayern Munich and Inter Milan ended 2-1 with Inter Milan returning to Italy with a positive result. But then we'll be starting in England. Guys, let's look at what happened in England over the weekend. In midweek, actually, Real Madrid are losing by 3-0. I mean, prior to that game, we've seen Real Madrid struggle this season. What really happened in London, Jonathan?
Yeah, so that big game at the Emirates between Real Madrid, the defending champions of the UEFA Champions League, and also Arsenal, was a classic game for us to watch. And one thing that, if you're a football fan and you are analyzing this game, you have to give credit to the manager and the coach, Carlo Ancelotti, not only Mikel Arteta. The reason why I'm mentioning Ancelotti first is because we have to accept that we've seen Real Madrid and their greatest side. We've seen Real Madrid dominate their opponents. We've seen Real Madrid play so well. This season, we can call them that their season is not going on well, but they are in 3 competitions as we speak. They are in the Spanish La Liga behind FC Barcelona, the second side to concede fewer goals after the table toppers being Barcelona. You get to the Copa del Rey, they are into the final. Now in the UEFA Champions League, last season, even on their road to the final, nobody tipped Real Madrid to get there. So in the game against Arsenal, clearly, even on paper, Real Madrid were playing with players out of position. Because you can't tell me that you feel your best man in the midfield at the right back and expect to win the battle in the midfield against Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. So if you are putting fanatics aside, as a Madrid fan, you have to accept the fact that Ancelotti is already handicapped, even ahead of games. And we saw it clearly against Valencia over the weekend before that game. They were beaten by 2-0. And the tactical shape of Real Madrid, for the first time seeing Ancelotti deploying Jude Bellingham from that ankle roll that he succeeded so well with the man. He played just behind the left position as a midfielder, limiting the attributes and what we know Jude Bellingham will do. Why? Because he has to fill top 2 players up front, being Vinicius Jr. and also Kylian Mbappe. So in football, when the team is being injured by injury, when injuries are into the squad, when you have your players out, you suffer to even map up a plan against your opponent. And we shouldn't forget, they played against a well-sanctioned and also a well-calculated team, Arsenal. They don't concede. if you want to check the conceding rate in the UEFA Champions League this season, you tip Inter Milan, top 3, there's Arsenal there. Because they don't concede. Raya is very, very good. So there are only 2 things Real Madrid came to England to do. It is either we defend and defend so well and catch Arsenal on a counter break. In the first 5 minutes, they got the opportunity and they missed it. Vinicius Jr. The pass was not able to locate Kylian Mbappe. The rest of the game, Real Madrid were defending. And then you ask yourself, if Valverde is your number 2, if Thomas Partey is also your opponent's midfielder, if there's Declan Rice, if there's Odegaard, the Modric that we saw some time ago is not the same Modric we are seeing again. So Modric starting the game, you can argue who is on the bench. There's nobody. Tchouaméni was not available for this game. We can go on and mention Ancelotti didn't give the chance for the youngsters. That's who he is. That's his style. Because he's one coach who is result oriented. He has no time to try. He has no time to build you. He will give you the nod if he sees that you are ready to play. You are ready to give him the results. So with the other Gula Towns and everything, we have to calm down for him. Because last season, he didn't give these youngsters the opportunity, but he was able to grind his way to the final to beat Dortmund to get a UCL title. So for Real Madrid, they have to accept it. If you go into a season and a big club like Real Madrid, whilst others are getting new players to bolster their squad ahead of a new season, you people were sitting down waiting for Kylian Mbappe to just arrive. As if Kylian Mbappe will be playing your right back if there's no Carvajal.
Well, I mean, if you look at Real Madrid, they are not a side that really just goes into the market for any player.
Yes.
We know them to be a team that will go out there, get the big names, and then
bring them in.
Maybe bring in some very talented players from South America. And that is exactly what they've done. I mean, there is Arda Güler from Turkey, there is Endrick. But then, like you're saying, if you look at a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, he wouldn't really rely
on the youngsters.
But don't you also think that his big players, the big boys, the Vinicius Juniors and then the Kylian Mbappe, they didn't turn up?
They didn't turn up. And clearly, they won't turn up because they were playing against another disciplined side that Mbappe needs the speed. Vinicius Junior wants to run. We saw Lewis Kelly, the youngster for us now, in fine form, playing so well with that confidence against Mbappe. He didn't even give him the chance to pass. So clearly, Arsenal too were ready. We can put the history aside and see clearly that Madrid struggles against Arsenal. And once again, even in the 58 minutes, that goal which was scored, in which manner? Was it a well-calculated goal from the team? Or it was a well-calculated goal from one player on the pitch? So we can attribute even the goal scored by Arsenal in the 58 minutes towards individual brilliance, not a well-calculated goal by Arsenal. Individual brilliance from who? Declan Rice.
Okay.
In the 78 minutes, Declan Rice once again showed up individual what? Brilliance. Before breaking the genes of Real Madrid, before they could even swing their passes together to get Mikel Merino to get that final touch, to get the third goal. So Real Madrid came in with a plan, and clearly it was working to perfection because Madrid came in to frustrate Arsenal because they know how dominant Arsenal can be. The frustration didn't go well because in football, if you're able to stop the tactical pattern of your opponent, the final thing for you to do is how to eliminate his individual players. How are you going to stop their brilliance from shining? And clearly, from one of the best goalkeepers on planet Earth now as we speak, Thibaut Courtois was nowhere to be found. You can analyze that first free kick and the second one. You can't tell me that these free kicks were unsavable, that Courtois couldn't do anything. 2 free kicks in the same game against one goalkeeper signifies that the goalkeeper didn't do his things well.
Especially the first free kick.
Yes, because if things were done right, I don't think Madrid will be conceding 2 free kicks against Arsenal in the same game from the same player. Who is that player? A player who has never scored a free kick in his life.
All right, I mean, talking about that free kick, let's just have a listen to Declan Rice after that game against Real Madrid. It was a spectacular night for the Englishman. Maybe he's now, paying off that £100 million that Arsenal paid to get him. So this is Declan Rice after the game.
Yeah, that's been the message from the manager since the game of the weekend, is that we need to be super convinced that we can come and win this game, and as a group of players. We were really convinced that we were out there together as a team, fighting for each other, and in the second half we knew we had to score, and to score 3 was a real positive. It's been in the locker, but I've hit the wall too many times, or it's gone over the bar, and originally we was going to cross it, and then I just see the wall and the goalkeeper's position. I thought for the first one, just go for it, and the guy said to feel it, and I see the outside of the wall, and it went in, and then the second one I just had the confidence, and I hit it, and yeah, look, it's not going to hit me yet, because look, there's another leg to go, and I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm over the moon. I don't mean to be cliche, but in a few years' time, I think this will hit me that what I've done tonight is really special.
Well, so that was Declan Rice speaking after that 3-0 defeat to Real Madrid. I mean, he was the catalyst in that game, scoring 2 good free kicks for Real Madrid in that game, for Arsenal actually in that game. Now, Marvin, I mean, let's look at that game again. We've been talking about the fact that Real Madrid have some very talented players in Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham. But then, if you've watched the UEFA Champions League this season, even in the round of 16, we saw them against Atletico Madrid, and these players were virtually missing in that game. What is happening to these guys? Have they been found out, or Carlo Ancelotti would need to trick his system to get the best out of these boys?
Okay, so the issue is that before this game began, I predicted on my TikTok already, and I saw this coming. Arsenal versus Real Madrid, they've not really had good experience with Real Madrid over the years. The only time they've met is 2006. And in this season, from all the Champions League games that Real Madrid has played, you realize that people tip them to go to the final, but to me, they are not going to the final like that. When you take a look at the game at the Emirates Stadium like this, you realize that Arsenal were very good on set pieces. So the next leg like this, they can really try and attack Arsenal in that sense, because Real Madrid made a lot of fouls. Their defense was a very defensive blunder, and you realize that the fouls was Arsenal's strength. Arsenal, on the other hand, too, don't really have strikers. They don't really have a top forward just like that. You understand? So going into this game, I just don't know why Vinicius Junior and Mbappe were not so prolific like that. For that, I understand that from the beginning of the Champions League, from all the games that they've played, even in Atletico Madrid game, they didn't even turn up. And that game was more or less like luck to me, because I was not even expecting Real Madrid to go through. But you understand that Real Madrid is Real Madrid, and every time, on any day, on any time, they just find a way to go through. You get it? And on one day, you understand that Real Madrid that's why they are always called the Galacticos. Real Madrid on any day won't play anything, but they will dominate and score. You don't get the goals. So that's my problem with Arsenal now. For the next leg, Arsenal should never go and defend. That's the worst thing Arsenal will do to themselves. Because if Arsenal go and defend, they will come at you. Real Madrid in the first half. I remember 3 seasons ago, Manchester City versus Real Madrid. I remember when Mahrez scored that goal and was 4-3 on aggregate. We all thought they were going to, only for Rodrigo to score 2 goals, and they took them out. Arsenal should not, because right now, Mbappe and Vinicius, they had a bad day at Emirates. You can go to Bernabeu and they will have a very good day. Those two are just some kind of players. They are just some kind of funny players. On a bad day, they'll have a bad day. On a good day, excellent. So Arteta should understand that the next game that they are going to, they will come at them with full force. And you know, Real Madrid, the first 10 minutes, it will be very, 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 very tough for Arsenal. And what Arsenal should never do is to defend. They should just game and play with them. And they should understand that now, Real Madrid will not be committing so much fouls like that, because they know that Arsenal stretches on set pieces. And then they will try and be compact with their defense as well. And you know, Arteta, mind you, Courtois is always a good keeper. He'll be in goal post as usual. What Arsenal should do is that they shouldn't go and defend. They should try and find creators and more set piece creators, and they should try and compact their forward more. They should play with Madrid like it was a 0-0 first leg and not a 3-0 first leg. Forget that it's 3-0, because 3 goals is nothing for Real Madrid. I quite remember when Ronaldo was there some seasons ago, 2017. The first leg, I remember Real Madrid versus Juventus. It happened it happened just like that. Madrid when Madrid are coming back at you, they come back at you with full force.
You know, we'll definitely be talking about that second leg. But then one other side would have to be looking at. Teddy, let me bring you in here. I mean, would you say that it was a tactical masterclass from Mikel Arteta, or is just that Carlo Ancelotti refused to tweak his system?
No, I see it as a tactical plan from Mikel Arteta, because when you look at Real Madrid, Real Madrid came in with the intention to defend and attack Arsenal on the counter side of the game. Because when you take a look at the game in the first 15 minutes, I think Arsenal gave it out. You could see, I think, a back pass from Saka. Saka made a mistake, and where Real Madrid took the chance, but they never, take advantage of that. And I think Declan Rice also did the same. And I think Saliba also committed. But in this case, when you look at the game again, you could see that Arteta deployed someone in the midfield in Thomas Partey, who could, slow the tempo of the game to discount or disadvantage Real Madrid's plan. Because, for Real Madrid, they like doing the end-to-end action. They have very pacey wingers in Vinicius and Mbappe. Yeah, so I think when you look at the game, Thomas Partey was a defining moment for us now. Anytime the ball gets to Partey, Partey decides where the ball will go. He slows, or he does everything when it comes to the pace of the game. So you could see that anytime the ball gets to him, and when the game is trying to go on that kind of pacey game for Real Madrid, when the ball gets to him, he decides where the game goes. And one thing that Arsenal did, which I saw very good, was trying to isolate, was trying to leave Saka for Alaba, and also trying to leave the other Brazilian winger, which is Martinelli for Valverde. Yeah, and we all know Real Madrid this season have been going through a lot of injuries. They have been recording casualties here and there. And, Real Madrid were handicapped. Like Jonathan said, Real Madrid were looking very handicapped into this game. And going into the game, there was no way you could say Real Madrid would have a good night at Emirates. So, I think Real Madrid just had a bad day, but I'll just give the tactical side to Arteta for doing everything possible to get it. The first leg in his favor.
All right, Larry. I mean, Teddy mentioned about Thomas Partey. I mean, we all know how good Thomas Partey is as a footballer. It's always good to have him excel on European nights, especially from a Ghanaian point of view. But then, how important was he for this Arsenal team and going forward? I mean, he played in Atletico Madrid. He's been in Madrid for close to 10 years. He knows if anybody has that motivation to play against Real Madrid in a big game, it is Thomas Partey. Do you think that his influence played a huge role in that game? And from judging from his performance, that is exactly what we saw.
Well, a lot of people give credit to Declan Rice, but for me, the difference on the night was Thomas Partey. He was the controller. He decided how the game should be played. And I mean, if you're a lover of the sport, you need to get to understand that there are people that actually dictate how the tactical game goes for a day. And Partey was key to Arteta's plan, because this Real Madrid team, and kudos to them, because I've looked at them, they've not had a good season in terms of injuries. However, they have very good player profiling, because always when you see it seems to look as if Madrid is short of players. They find a way to, fix some jigsaw. Carlo plays a jigsaw and then puts the players in there. So I was quite impressed that he was able to come up with a good starting 11. Unfortunately, they were not good enough to meet Partey's masterclass, because the team Carlo put out, it meant that Real Madrid had to go on the full throttle. They were always on them. Fully on them. They couldn't, so Partey only had to slow down the game and play it Arsenal's way. So if you watch the first half, Arsenal should have been punished, because again, the usual Madrid, they were going full throttle. They were just going on them, and they carved chances, because definitely Real Madrid, they'll carve out chances. But Raya was good on the night. I think Arsenal's defense was solid as well, and they restricted Mbappe to half chances. Now, in the second half of that game, look at Thomas. Picks the ball, takes his time, finds his players, and that was how Arsenal ended up getting their set pieces, because now they started playing to their game. They relaxed the tempo. They were now playing what we call football, soccer, and it was nice to see. See, Thomas, I'm impressed because he has stayed fit throughout the season.
That's quite ironic.
That is a whole different Thomas Partey this season. Like, for you to hear that Thomas has not been out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever Arsenal is doing, that is keeping Thomas fit. That he even comes to Ghana and returns back without injuries is brilliant. And I think he was brilliant on the night. He will be key to their success. I don't see Madrid coming back. I don't know why people are scared.
We'll come back to. We'll definitely be looking at that comeback. But then, a follow-up question. So why aren't Arsenal giving Thomas Partey a new contract? Because his contract expires at the end of the season.
I feel Thomas is at a place where Mo Salah was with Liverpool until the news. He's become a key player to Arsenal, but they are also looking at the durability of the product they have. However, this is my take. Arsenal cannot do with letting Partey go. They don't have a replacement. And if you take Partey out, the player that normally comes in, the guy from Chelsea, Jorginho, he's also very old.
Yeah.
So who is that young chap that will come and dictate the game for you? You can't depend on just Declan Rice. It won't work. So Arsenal needs to bring in somebody. I don't know if maybe they're going to fall Mikel Merino back to that position if Partey leaves to play with. He has to come back definitely to play with Declan Rice. However, is Merino your Partey kind of player? No. So Arsenal needs to think. I think they will definitely give him a contract. It only has to do with how long they want to give him. I don't think Partey is that kind of player that demands so much money. I think Arsenal will just give him a year or two contract just so that they can get a replacement for him. I just feel it's in the pipeline. It will be announced. I'll be surprised if they let go of him.
Well, I mean, so you mentioned Declan Rice. I mean, if you watch Declan Rice play, he always flourishes with Partey in the middle of the park. Even Martin Odegaard feels very comfortable with Partey in there. So we live to see if they will really give him that contract. But then now we will be looking at the comeback, whether it will happen or not. I've been talking about some of the greatest comebacks in the history of the UEFA Champions League. One team that has been able to do that a lot of times has been Real Madrid. But then these are some of the biggest results from a UEFA Champions League comeback. So in 2016-2017, we had a very big comeback from Barcelona. They lost 4-0 in the first leg of their game against Paris Saint-Germain. But that second leg, inspired by Neymar, they won that game by 6-1. So that was in 2016-2017. But then, unfortunately for Barcelona, in 2018-2019, they had a fair taste of what it means to make a comeback. They won their first leg game against Liverpool by 3-0, but then the second leg in the 2018-2019 season saw Liverpool beat Barcelona by 3-0. Well, so breaking news from the English Premier League: Manchester City are losing by 2-0 against Crystal Palace. This is quite shocking. Maybe Manchester City might not play in the UEFA Champions League next season. We live to see, but then there are a few more games to go in the English Premier League. Now back to the comebacks that we are talking about. Now, do you remember the Greek god of Rome? Yes, we all remember that one. So yes, Roma again, against Barcelona. So Barcelona have really suffered when it comes to comebacks. So Roma actually defeated Barcelona. They lost that first leg by 4-1, but then won that second leg against Barcelona in the 2016-2017 season by 3-0. And of course, Manolas enjoyed the biggest night of football on that day. Now, another one. This one, maybe most of you are young enough and so wouldn't know. Do you remember Deportivo La Coruña? Most of you weren't born then, so you know the story.
We know the team.
Against AC.
Marvin, how old are you?
How old are you?
Marvin, you are telling us your age without telling us your age.
Exactly. You guys are young.
I remember that game.
Yeah. So,
hey, Marvin.
I remember that.
Did you watch that game?
I remember that game. I watched that Ligue 1.
All right. So, yeah. So,
what do you do, Lukman? Don't you remember? We watched that Ligue 1.
I remember.
Yeah.
We are the OG, so understand. understand us.
Yeah.
So yes, that game saw AC Milan win that first leg by 4-1, but then the second leg, this one was in 2004-2005. The second leg saw Deportivo La Coruña beating AC Milan by 4-0. That season, Porto actually won the UEFA Champions League. Now, to other results, more recently, Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain. United lost the first leg at Old Trafford by 2-0, but then came back to win that game by 3-1. Juventus Atletico Madrid. Now, you remember the Ronaldo masterclass. So, they lost 2-0 in the first leg, but then Ronaldo produced a stunning hat-trick to ensure that Atletico Madrid were out of the competition. In 2016, Ronaldo again, first leg, Real Madrid lost by 2-0. Ronaldo scored a hat-trick as Real Madrid defeated Wolfsburg by 3-0. Again, in 2014-2015, Porto lost by 3 Porto actually defeated Bayern Munich by 3-1.
Jackson Martinez.
And then the second leg saw Bayern Munich winning by 6-1. Now, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, another big game. So Chelsea lost that first leg by 3-1 and then won the second leg by 2-0. Manchester United and Olympiacos in 2013-2014. United lost that first leg by 2-0, but then won the second leg by 3-0. So these are some of the big comebacks in UEFA Champions League. So the question on the show this morning is, can Real Madrid produce that comeback in the second leg? Well, I'll start with you, Marvin. Do you believe... Okay, so there are some messages that are coming in. This one says that fantastic show, watching you guys live. This is from Positive Change Medina, and this one is from Tewia Francis. My godfather Zlatan, big ups. Hey, Zlatan is somebody's godfather. Hey. All right, so we get that from Tewia Francis. Tewia Francis, thanks for doing the watching live on Facebook. But then to the guys in the studios, Marvin, I mean, can this Real Madrid team produce that comeback we are all looking forward to?
Okay, so look, man, the remontada can happen, just unless something else doesn't happen.
Okay.
Earlier on, I stated some mistakes that shouldn't be made. You realize that in 2022, the Champions League final, the ball possession was everything was against Madrid. Real Madrid won.
Yeah.
Last season against Dortmund, Dortmund dominated the whole game. Real Madrid ended up winning. You just take a look at over the seasons, it always goes in Bernabeu. I remember back in 2016.
You know, I'm talking about Dortmund. If you remember, just this season, I mean, they faced Real Madrid. They were leading 2-0 at halftime, and then Real Madrid came 4-2. Back and then won. Actually 5-2.
It ended 5-2. Yeah. All right. So back to what I was saying. In 2016, I remember when Ronaldo was there. The first leg, Madrid won 3-0. Juventus won 3-0. And then they went on extra time. So you realize that this is a Madrid side that they don't really care about possession. They don't really dominate you, but they will beat you. This is the game that Arsenal should not make any mistake to go and defend. Just as I said earlier, 3 seasons ago, when Man City met Real Madrid, everybody thought that after Mahrez's goal, it was going to be the end of it for Real Madrid. And you realize that these boys, when they have a good game, and they realize your weakness, they'll hit you head on and they'll hit you head on. The first 10, if Arsenal make the mistake to go and defend, the first 10 minutes, they can take 2 or 3 goals. 3 goals is not anything that Madrid cannot score. And it will even shock you that they can even beat Arsenal 5-0. But you know that this is an Arteta that he will not want to lose this game for anything, because this is an Arteta that since 2021, he's been on the radar of the Premier League. And it hasn't seemed to be working. You understand? Last season like this, they went out on a ticket of Bayern Munich and they were very poor. And this is the only season that they seem to be pulling a bit of weight. As compared to the other teams, I see Arsenal getting to the semi-final. Okay. But one thing Arsenal should not do is to go and defend. Because now Real Madrid know that they are good in set pieces. They know that Partey is very good. They will try and be we all know that Ancelotti is a very pragmatic coach. They will try and find ways of stopping Partey because they know everything, and they will try and make Courtois the best of it on the day. You understand? So this is no room for any error. You should understand that Arteta should attack this game very well. He should play the game like they are not leading 3-0. He should play the game like the first leg was 0-0. and that they are going like it's not any leg match, or it's like a golden goal game back in those days.
Yeah,
they should just play the game head on and not worry about defending or anything, because Real Madrid, once they score you one, know that one goal when they score you, it's more like 4. When they score you one, they'll press and they'll score you.
Okay.
And you understand that with their defense, it was very poor against Arsenal the first leg. So as pragmatic as their coach will be, he'll try and make the defense more compact. So Arsenal should understand that for Madrid to be committing fouls in this game, there are no fouls for them for any set pieces. So they should be very careful with their chances, and they should create chances very well and not rely so much on the set pieces that help them win the first game.
Okay.
And lastly, what I'll say is that I just hope that Arsenal goes through. But it will be very scary. Maybe Arsenal are going to go through 2 penalties, because I see Madrid scoring them 3-0 and it will go on extra time. But Arsenal are going to go through on penalties.
All right.
It's going to be a very tight one. But that's how I see the game.
I mean, we'll definitely come back to this statement next week. Yeah.
What a bold prediction.
Yeah.
I predicted 3-0. I predicted 3-0 for the first leg. Okay. Everybody on my TikTok was saying, just after the game, the game was done, the algorithm was taking to me. We were like, hey, this guy. Everybody was shocked because nobody expected Arsenal to win.
All right, so we'll definitely be coming to your prediction. But then one player who is very confident about the comeback, who thinks that Real Madrid can't really do that comeback, is Jude Bellingham. So this is what Jude Bellingham had to say after that game in London.
I don't know if shock's the right word. I think we're disappointed really, and more so in ourselves. You know, there's nothing we can draw on from any external excuses or anything like that. We've got to look solely at ourselves, and you know, it's the similar kind of themes that have happened to all season when we've dropped points, and it's happened again tonight, but on a larger scale. And you know, we're going to have to address it. We're going to need something special to turn it around. But special things can happen in football, and you know, if there's one place where it can, it's at our house.
Well, so if there is any place that special things can happen in the UEFA Champions League, it is actually the Santiago Bernabeu. Now, Teddy, I mean, for the game, you look at it also from a tactical point of view. Do you think that Carlo Ancelotti would have to do some changes that are very important in this next leg to be able to make it? I mean, he's also spoken about the fact that they can do that comeback. But then if they have to do that comeback from a tactical point of view, what do you think Carlo Ancelotti should be doing?
Well, going into the second leg, whether the comeback can happen, it all starts from this weekend. Okay. Because when you look at the fixtures they have in their respective leagues, I think Arsenal will be benching their key players. Yeah, Arsenal will be benching, I think, Thomas Partey. Even though they are also in the chase for the Premier League, Arsenal will be resting the likes of Thomas Partey, Saliba, and some few key players which are very instrumental for them going into the second leg. Madrid, on the other hand, are just 4 points behind Barcelona. And so they have nothing like player resting, because they also need the win in the La Liga. I think they are playing against who? They are playing against Alaves, and they are going away. So they don't have anything in terms of excuse to rest players. They also need that 3 points, because when they fail to get this 3 points and Barcelona wins, that is 7 points. So I think when you are, looking at a game like this, I think Arsenal has the advantage. But like Marvin said, it when they go into the second leg, I think Thomas Partey was very instrumental for Arsenal. So I think they'll try, every means to at least limit the potentials of Thomas Partey when it comes to playing the second leg at the Bernabeu. Because when you look at Madrid's Champions League success in 2022 when they won against Liverpool, I think in the round of 16 they defeated PSG by comeback. They met Chelsea. They lost. They won the first leg at Stamford Bridge 3-1. Chelsea went there winning 3-0. They came back. They equalized to Rodrigo, and extra time they won. So that's like a form of comeback. They met Manchester City in the semis, and Man City won the first leg. They went to Bernabeu and they overturned the tie. They met Liverpool and won inside the final. So this is the Bernabeu they are playing. And when it comes to tactics, I think Ancelotti will do everything possible. At least they will try their best, at least to get something convincing. But I don't see them, going through this tie, because I think for me, when Arsenal are to go to the Bernabeu, we all respect that it's the Bernabeu they are going. But if Arsenal are to go to the Bernabeu and lose the tie to Madrid, I think Arteta should be fired.
Wow.
Yes, I think
that's a bold statement.
Yeah, I think he should be fired because you are leading 3-0. At least Madrid will come at you in the Bernabeu. Madrid will try to come at you in their respective ways. But I feel Arsenal shouldn't concede 2 goals in the first half or even the first 17 minutes. The first 17 minutes, if Arsenal are to concede 2 goals, it's still dangerous. Madrid can come back and do anything at you for the rest of the 20 minutes remaining. So Arsenal should just be very disciplined. They should be very, very disciplined. Arteta should be very disciplined and be very careful, especially committing fouls in the final third. They shouldn't just commit fouls in the dangerous areas which will play to the advantage of Real Madrid. So Arsenal should just be disciplined, and I think it will fetch them the result in the Bernabeu.
Well, I mean, before we even move to the other games, there is one critical issue that if you're a Real Madrid fan, you'll be worried about. I mean, we've seen Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. destroy teams somewhere early this season, but then that is not happening anymore. I mean, Larry, you look at these 2 players. How does a manager like Carlo Ancelotti settles this conundrum, knowing that, look, I need these guys to step up for me to be able to get the job done? Because look, if you watch that first leg, you realize that there were a lot of inefficiencies in that team because defensively, players like Kylian Mbappe, players like Vinicius Jr., even Jude Bellingham at one point had to be pulled onto the lines to be instructed that you have to work defensively to help the team. These guys have not been able to do that. In terms of the attack as well, they've not been able to do that. So how do you get the best out of these players?
This will be a big one, but I think Madrid does not have leadership on the pitch.
Okay.
Nobody calls the players to order. And this is where they will miss the likes of personas like the Ramos.
Sergio Ramos.
Because Carvajal.
Yeah.
Right. I feel Rudiger would have been the bigger person to do this, but he doesn't have the captain's armband. So sometimes, as a player, I feel he will feel like, okay.
But then you also look at even Rudiger. Rudiger is kind of like, in quotes, let me put it this way, the classroom clown. He doesn't. He's more, exactly, a joker.
Exactly. So it makes, that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't have that persona to call out those boys. And Modric is not, because with this kind of personas you have on the pitch, they are big characters. Vinicius will misbehave. Did you watch the Brazil game? When he misbehaved, who went to call him to order? Rafinha and Cunha. It's because they feel that, boss, whatever you do, we are doing it. You can't do the same. Mbappe is doing what he feels he wants to do. Vinicius is doing what he feels he wants. Even Rodrigo now also wants to do what he wants to do. And at that moment in time, this will be a big call. But I feel Jude Bellingham should be that guy. But sometimes he switches off. Because if you watch their when Madrid nearly went out in the group stages and they had to play their last 2-3 games to win, it was Jude Bellingham. He was working his socks off. And there were times I saw Jude shout to him, Vinicius, and tell him, dude, what's the meaning of, come back and come and track. Like, and then Vinicius would just look at you like this, shake his head. That guy has a very big character. I feel that is what they lack. Because defensively, they are not strong. They've lost players to injuries. So they have to make makeshift jigsaws. So you need everybody to give 100%. And these are things that players like Mbappe don't know how to do. Mbappe is not your defensive. There is a video that started to trend. His video with Luis Enrique, where Enrique was telling him, you need to be a team machine because already you have the individual effort. I feel Mbappe still lacks that. But with players of that caliber, you can't expect them to always be the team player. Unfortunately, he has 2, not 1. Mbappe and Vinicius. I feel somebody needs to tell the guys and tell them, see, for this game, you cannot be the Mbappe out there. You cannot be the Vinicius out there. It needs to be Real Madrid out there. And this is how I feel they would have a chance. This is the only way they can have a chance. If they play as a team and not be the Madrid you've seen in the La Liga in the past few games and in the Champions League, they need to play as a team, not be lazy. and maybe they may have a chance.
All right, quickly, I'm going to pick your prediction on this one. All of you guys. I mean, okay, already I have Marvin's prediction. He thinks that Real Madrid will be winning that game, but then it will end up in a penalty.
Arsenal are going to win that game, but Real Madrid will win on the day 3-0, but Arsenal will win on penalty.
All right, so confirmed.
I mean, Real Madrid will win the second time, but Arsenal will qualify
exactly on penalty.
Yeah, so we actually have a prophet on our show today. Prophet Marvin says that Real Madrid will be winning 3-0.
TikTok octopus.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll see that. But then, Larry, if you have a result on your mind, what do you think will happen?
Real Madrid does not have a chance. They may win the game, but Arsenal will qualify.
All right.
I don't think they'll win by 3-0.
Okay, yeah. Jonathan?
I see a 0-0.
Yeah.
Well, I know where you're coming from, so I agree with you. And then Teddy, where do you think this game? What will be your result?
I think it will be a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I still think Arsenal can still win at the Bernabeu.
Okay, all right. I mean, now let's move away from that one. There's been a lot of comebacks, and maybe it could happen, maybe it might not happen. But then if it happens, then there will be a lot.
But does Madrid have a lot of comeback in their history?
Well, they had one with Wolfsburg. They had one with Atletico Madrid. And then it's not really against some of the biggest or elite clubs in Europe. And so
Carlo should call Jurgen Klopp.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Carlo is actually under a lot of pressure this season, but then we can understand what he's going through. Now, away from that one to the arrivals, Barcelona is almost certain Barcelona will be going through to the semi-finals of the competition. But then one interesting fact is that Rafinha has now equaled a record set by Lionel Messi after getting 19 goal involvement in the UEFA Champions League. In midweek, he scored 1 and then he provided 2 assists in that game. But then the other player who scored 2 goals in that game is Robert Lewandowski, and this is what Lewandowski said after that 4-0 win over Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, I don't know really. I don't think about this because more important is that we won the game. We're playing as a team, and this individual trophy is like something extra, but I don't think too much because I'm glad, I'm very happy, but in the end more important is how many goals we scored and that we have next 3 points.
Well, so a quick update on that game between Manchester City and Crystal Palace. It is actually now 2-2. Omar Mamouche and Kevin De Bruyne scoring for Manchester City. It looks like De Bruyne will be leaving on a high after all. But then back to that game between Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund. You had Robert Lewandowski. I mean, he ate like a fine wine. Now, Jonathan, I mean, it is certain that Barcelona will be going through to the semi-finals. 4-0 is a huge scoreline. But then what I want to find out is that do you think that this Barcelona team is on course to reaching the final? Would they be in the final of the UEFA Champions League?
It will be a difficult task for Hansi Flick to get Barcelona to the final.
Well, they are almost through to the semi-final.
So Borussia Dortmund won't stand a chance, and we saw it even in the first leg. So done deal for FC Barcelona to qualify to the next stage of the competition. But the task here, the mantle for Barcelona to climb will be that Italian side, Inter Milan. And we can talk about football for the past 3 years.
But Inter are not through yet.
So that's the point. So the same way FC Barcelona sees a depleted Borussia Dortmund and they were able to thumb them by 4-0, they are bold enough that they've booked their ticket into the semi-final. Inter Milan today can boast of seeing a depleted Bayern Munich. Ubek, 21-year-old goalkeeper, was their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
For them. We saw Kim Min-jae, Eric Dyer, costly mistakes in the game, unnecessary fouls in the game. And clearly, if you have a youngster who is now growing into the game, a youngster who is yet to even play 10 caps for Bayern this season, since Manuel Neuer was injured, you need experienced centre backs to cover a youngster. But then, because these youngsters, the youngster can control them.
But then, to be fair with Eric Dyer and then Kim Min-jae, these are experienced guys. Kim Min-jae won the Italian Serie A.
So what I want to say is, they are very experienced. For example, Eric Dyer, we know, is very good.
Yeah.
But on the day I watched these guys play against Inter Milan, and clearly, nobody can tell me otherwise that this Inter Milan squad is the most solid squad in Europe as we speak. They played a game without Dumfries, without Federico Di Marco, Carlos Augusto this season don't even have up to 20 caps in the Italian Serie A. He was the left-footed player for them in that game. And we saw him. So Barcelona sees a depleted German side. To me, Inter Milan also has, or they have on their hands, another depleted German side, which is Bayern Munich. And they already have a positive result.
We'll talk about Inter Milan, but then you...
So FC Barcelona sees themselves into the semi-final. But to the final, the last time they played against Inter Milan, because they stand a higher chance of facing Inter Milan again, they were defeated.
Yeah. So the thing is, for those of you listening, this is what will happen if Barcelona progresses to the semis, and then Inter Milan also reach the semis. These are the two teams that will be facing. Yeah.
So the only thing that will stand out for FC Barcelona this season is that when you have a new coach who is trying to prove a point that whenever he comes in and the team plays to his tune and his rhythm, he delivers. We saw it with Bayern. He didn't need 2 seasons, 3 seasons. He won them the 6-2 post. He won everything in Europe. He dominated Europe totally. No matter the budget you had, he dominated all the clubs, beating Barcelona by 8 goals to 2. So with FC Barcelona as we speak, you can talk about the Pedri, you can talk about the Gavi, you can talk about the Rafinha, but there's this generational DNA in Barcelona that, whether you like it or not, the only club on planet Earth that will give you talent. The talent can't be made extreme, and now from the Lionel Messi ages, they have Lamine Yamal. Nobody can tell me otherwise. There's no player, you can't compare any player to Lamine Yamal at this age. No player. If even there are players like him, they are somewhere else. But this guy is where the cathedral of football, the only club that gives youngsters the opportunity to grow to play. We know the White Angels can't say him because Arda Güler is on the bench.
Well,
that's my point.
There is no way a Barcelona fan will analyze a game without pulling Real Madrid.
So you see, my point here is FC Barcelona this season, for a youngster at the age of 18, reaching 100 caps for the club, for club and country.
Who is 18?
Lamine Yamal.
He's not 18.
He's not even 18 yet. But in that game against Borussia Dortmund, his grandma was there to celebrate his 100th cap as a footballer, as a professional footballer. Put that one aside. Lamine Yamal, you can talk about Robert Lewandowski and Rafinha setting the record of equaling Lionel Messi and then Neymar Jr.'s records in the UEFA Champions League, getting double figures, goals and assists combined for FC Barcelona. Hansi Flick, as we know, we are talking about one of the goalkeepers who was on retirement and back again. He's yet to even concede, keeping clean sheets like he has something that he does in the routine. That's Wojciech Szczesny. So my point is, Barcelona we see today, they look very well, but there's this position that they have to be careful, because if you will be playing even against Bayern or Inter Milan, I don't think Jules Koundé as your right back will be a perfect.
So you have a problem with Jules Koundé being there. All right. I mean, now let's move to Inter Milan. Obviously, if Real Madrid, if Barcelona are able to go through, they will be facing Inter Milan. Maybe they will be facing Inter Milan in the semifinals. Now, for Marvin, I mean, that Inter Milan team, like Jonathan was saying, they are not really a fine oiled kind of team, but then one thing you can get from them is that they look very, very good, and they have some very, very experienced players in that team. Now they've taken a 2-1 lead in Germany. Do you think that in Italy it will be over for Bayern Munich? And then you also look at it from a tactical point of view. Do you think that it is because of the experience of someone like Simeone Inzaghi that is why we've seen this team thrive in the UEFA Champions League?
Okay. But what I don't do is I don't underrate clubs. You understand? It could be that Bayern could go through, but Simeone Inzaghi, we know from Lazio, created a very compact Lazio side. In Luis Alberto, Joaquin Carrera, Felipe Anderson, a very, very good trio, and he was a very, very good manager, qualifying Lazio to the Champions League for the very first time in so many years. And this is a manager that he has so many squad depth. This Inter side, full of experience. Averagely, everybody is above like 28 years. Most of the players in Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Thuram, Lautaro Martinez. I think
they might have an average age of around 27, 28 years.
27, 28, exactly. Everybody has so much of experience. everyone playing in this team has had experience from somewhere without coming. Marcus Thuram from Mönchengladbach, Lautaro Martinez, so many, and Mkhitaryan and his experience in the Premier League from Dortmund or the whole world in Europe. You understand? And there's a team that in Bastoni, Fratesi, very compact side. Taking a look at their game against Feyenoord like this, when they catch you, they'll just beat you hands down. And I like the way they play. And for once in a long time, this is the only time that I've seen that there's an Inter side that from the Mourinho times, Inter has got a team that is very, very compact as compared to the time of Jose Mourinho and the time of the resurgence of the Serie A, because from like 2011 to 2019, Juventus are dominated for so many. So it's very nice seeing that Inter Milan are back to their glory days. From the likes of the Javier Zanettis, Diego Milito, and our own Sule Muntari. You understand? So you understand that you shouldn't underrate anybody in this game. But I honestly see Inter Milan going through.
Why do I say there's this hot stat about Inter Milan. The only centre back not yet to be dispossessed. Whenever he has the ball, you can't take the ball. Acerbi. Not even Bastoni. Acerbi. Yeah. That man. Who is Robert Lewandowski if Acerbi is on the pitch?
I forgot about Acerbi. Just look at their back. They're number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Excellent players. Yeah. So and one thing is that as compared to the manager of Bayern, right? He has so much of experience and honestly speaking, I didn't even expect Bayern to get here, because even a Celtic, see the way Celtic stressed them. Yeah. It only took brilliance of exactly to qualify them up to here. So you understand that this Bayern team, I didn't really have belief in them like that. Getting in the quarterfinal was even a blessing in disguise to them. But you understand that, because I don't know, this whole team, and it's even shocking that Uli Hoeneß and the likes and give such a big club in the hands of company like that. Well, but he's performing though. But then what I'm saying is that you shouldn't underrate Bayern again.
All right. So with that, we're talking about company. I actually spoke to guys around Bayern Munich, and they are very clear about that role. They feel like it was a huge mistake to hand the club to someone like Kompany, especially coming from the backdrop that he has suffered relegation with Burnley in the English Premier League, and is virtually inexperienced when it comes to playing European football and then the rest. Because for a Bayern Munich side in Europe, I mean, even in the new formats, they shouldn't even be playing in the playoffs. But then we've seen Bayern Munich go through the playoffs and then round of 16 and then now quarterfinal. It won't be easy in Italy, because again, you can also look at the fact that Inter Milan have the best defensive record in the competition, and so it's going to be very hard. But then this is what Eric Dier had to say after that game in Germany.
I think for the most part we played well, especially second half. We're obviously disappointed with the goals that we conceded, in transition. And sorry, they're a very experienced team. They're very well drilled. They've been together for a long time with the same manager, a lot of the same players. So we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we knew what to expect, but we couldn't control it as well as we'd like to at times. But I think, in the second half, I think we played well. We had a lot of possession, and we just couldn't take our chances. Maybe not a lot of clear-cut chances, but we had enough to do more. And
well, so that was Eric Dier speaking after that 2-1 defeat to Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League. And the time that they conceded that second goal also tells you that there was virtually inexperience in a way creeping in, because that is something you can also see from the coaching point of view. But then let's move away from that to a more experienced coach in Europe, and that is Luis Enrique. Now, Luis Enrique is doing something phenomenal with that PSG team. Teddy, I mean, winning 3-1 against Aston Villa wasn't really a surprise for many, but then the manner in which that they secured that win, I mean, coming back from an early goal from Morgan Rogers, do you think that this Paris Saint-Germain team is destined for the final of the UEFA Champions League?
Yes, I think PSG can make the final in the Champions League this season, because I think the numbers and the statistics speak for them right from the League One. and they've been one of the disciplined sides in the Champions League. But I think Aston Villa lost it by conceding the third goal in 9 minutes. I thought they would have balanced the tie.
That was a very good goal from Nuno Mendes.
Yes. I thought they would have balanced the tie at least with a 2-1 scoreline. But losing 3-1, I'll give the credit to Luis Enrique because he has been doing a very good job. Even though losing key players, I think they lost Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. They don't have the PSG we used to have in the last 4 or 5 years, but with the squad at his disposal, he has been doing very tremendous. And I think already he has won the league by at least 20 plus points in the League One. So I think PSG, if they keep the momentum, when they come to the second leg at Villa Park, they should just, be very disciplined. They should be very tactical. And if they are to get a good result at the Villa Park, I think they can make the final of the Champions League this season. Well, because he's doing a very good job with the players he has at PSG.
Well, strangely enough, this is the un-Galactico PSG we've seen in a while because I mean there are not so many big players in there. There are very good players in the team, but there are not so many big players. You look at back in the day, there is Neymar, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe. I even saw I saw Ezekiel Lavezzi and then Pastore watching. Yeah, these are big. I mean, so it's surprising to see that Ousmane Dembele, strangely, Ousmane Dembele and Thomas Partey are having an injury-free season.
Surprisingly. They have to have a party together. Dembele and then Partey.
Yeah, that is shocking.
Dembele at FC Barcelona was the one who always checks time for doctors.
Yeah,
he's like glass.
Yeah,
he will just tell you that the doctors are ready because he's always in there.
All right. I mean, but then, in as much as we talk about big game players, there is one player who has really made the difference, and his seemingly adaptation to the PSG team has been quite impressive. Kivitska Kvaratskhelia. I mean, Larry, you look at him. What kind of a player has he been for PSG this season?
Kvaratskhelia. Who can I compare him to? Oh, come on. No, Kvaratskhelia is
one of the best
to me.
players,
Not one of to me. Currently in his position, he's the best in the world. He's the best number 10 in the world currently. He's not a natural 10, but that's why he plays for PSG, just right behind the strikers. See, that game
it also allows him freedom to actually
cut in, move. That game against Liverpool. See, I watched that game and then I was like, see, FSG should have just bought this guy because we were going for him last season until he ended up at PSG. And I mean, when he was coming, we were not so sure because we knew him from the Italian league and we're not so quite sure. But see, he knows how to handle a ball. He knows how to play football. Like the ball is at his feet. He's so good in picking the spaces, and he's so good at playing those 1-2s, free him up. He quickly gets in there, and then his shots are always towards goal. He's always getting a shot on goal. And if you watch that game against Aston Villa, where he picked the ball from, how he maneuvered to his left, you would all think he was going to go across, and then he placed it right. See, Martinez is an excellent,
a good centre back.
My goodness.
No.
Relax. He did it against Konate and Van Dijk. Please, see, Kvaratskhelia. Oh, come on.
Disasi is nowhere near Mati. This boy, if it was
relax. You can stop. No.
But then where is Daniel Amati?
Where is he? You can say this if he's facing Disasi and then the French league one defenders, but he's done it against Liverpool.
And the win against Liverpool was a turning point.
Arsenal, he was good against the Arsenal in those Arsenal games, right? See, you cannot right now, this season, he is the best number 10.
I think what you people are not
team of the year.
See,
come on.
You people,
come on.
You people are even thinking it's only this year. Look, I'm a big fan of Kvaratskhelia. So anytime I speak about him, people think that it's because I'm a big fan of him. But then the thing is, I like his profile of play, the kind of play he brings. He oozes that nostalgic feeling that you get from the old players. Look,
you know the player I want to compare him to.
Let me
I want to compare him to Ronaldinho, but he doesn't have that technique.
I don't know if people really followed Kvaratskhelia back in Rubin Kazan. He was even way better than even now.
And you see,
he was really serious.
Even that Serie A winning Napoli
side.
He was the best. He was the best player.
That was when Liverpool were going for him and then we didn't.
Yeah.
See, I want to compare him to Ronaldinho, but without the technical abilities of Ronaldinho.
Okay.
Look at relax. Listen.
I get.
Look at what Ronaldinho was doing for that Barcelona team. He was the guy that was picking the spaces, picking the small passes. He's the guy that will find himself in the spaces you don't want him to. You would think you won't get to. That's where Ronaldinho will get to, and then he'll kick that. That is Kvaraskelia's profile this season. See, I doff off my hat to him. Anytime anywhere Kvaratskelia is playing,
I don't believe it
I'll join him.
Because if Larry had really watched Kvaratskelia back in Rubin Kazan, he would have been compared.
That's what I'm saying.
Way better than now.
But then you see,
that's
what
I'm saying. It's kind of a narrating, overrating.
Yeah. So let me just
Liverpool did go for Kvaratskelia because they were not so sure from the Italian series.
Yeah, but then you
were not sure about Kvaratskelia, but you were sure about Federico Chiesa. This is my question.
You see, so the thing is that
no.
Let me come back and
look when I'm coming.
Federico Chiesa over here is a hungry player.
So now
he's hungry to get his form.
The hunger was in Euro 2021.
See, my belief in that guy was really, really serious because he's very hungry. Because since Fiorentina, he was very excellent. He came to Juventus, he knows it up. The hunger in him, just look at the way he played against Newcastle. You can see that the guy is trying. He's really hungry to get. So that's what I want that you're saying there. I honestly don't agree with you.
So you see, the thing that from what I can also say is, you see, football has really changed. There are different teams and the way you fit inside. For example, Rubin Kazan, obviously, he will do everything to be that guy.
He'll be that guy.
You move to Napoli, you are playing in a more advanced league, and the system is quite different. And we all know how Italian defenders are, and when facing them, how difficult it can be. He goes there, he thrives, and then he moves to Paris Saint-Germain, and it's almost the same thing now, even in Europe, because at Paris Saint-Germain you get the kind of leverage that you need than at Napoli, and that is exactly what he's doing. And I mean, you try to bring Chiesa in there. You don't compare someone who is from Georgia to someone who is from Italy. The hunger is different. You come, for example, you don't compare you from Ghana to someone from Morocco. It's different. So let's put that one into perspective. But then,
please,
before we
Liverpool were also not sure about Chiesa. It's not as if we wanted him. We didn't want him.
But
we didn't want Chiesa.
So, I mean, let's just.
It was a panic buy. We didn't want him.
Before we move away from the
to me, it was never a panic buy. The guy is hungry.
All right.
The guy,
so let's move.
The guy wanted to prove his point.
Okay, let's move away from the UEFA Champions League. But then before we do that, Kvaratskelia actually won the man of the match in that game against Aston Villa, and this is what he had to say after that.
I think in the life and in the football everything is possible. We are just concentrated about the games which are coming. Of course, in our dreams there is to win Champions League, but we have to stay humble and just to work our job, trust the coach, and just put everything on the field.
All right, so that was Kvichka Kvaratskelia speaking there. Well, we are getting some messages from Facebook. This one is from Aqua Mula. Big boss Zlatan. Hey, Zlatan. Anyways. All right, this one too is also from Elizabeth Imbia. Sport, my master, you do all. Okay, so I don't know who she's talking about, but then we really appreciate your message. This one says that this one is from Yema Matel. A brace for the Frenchman. That means that there will be a brace from Kylian Mbappe in that game against Real Madrid in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League. So the return legs from those games will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll find out which 4 teams will be making it to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Now, away from the UEFA Champions League, we move to the English Premier League, where that game between Crystal Palace and Manchester City is still 2-2 at the moment. But then the interesting development from the English Premier League has to do with the extension of Mohamed Salah's contract. Now, I saw a very funny video.
The king stays.
Yeah. So I'll come to you, the Liverpool guys. But then I saw a funny video. The moment the announcement was made, Ola Aina was spotted at the bar.
He was on a TikTok live.
Yeah. So the moment he saw the news, he was like, "It's over." it's the league is finished. That was his reaction. But then I'll start with you, Marvin. I mean, this is good news for Liverpool.
You have to start with me, obviously.
Yeah. So what? We've seen him carry Liverpool all throughout this season. I mean, without the goals of Mohamed Salah this season, Liverpool would not be where they are. How important is this to Liverpool, and what kind of a boost would it give to Ancelotti going forward?
I mean, it's very, very important. 243 goals in as many games, and he scored 47 goals in all competition. I think in 2018-19, he's been excellent. He's been very excellent. And Salah is a player that you can attribute him to Christianity. That Charlie, God can use you to do so many things. From Barcelona, he came to Chelsea. He didn't see it up. He came to
Prophet is cooking.
Oh yeah,
Prophet is cooking.
He went to Roma and he picked up so much for him. Came to Liverpool. No one expected that signing. Nobody expected him to perform so well like that. He's now a Liverpool legend, and we need him for some more years, because if he had left, just like Jurgen Klopp last season, when it came that he was leaving, it's detrimentally caused some kind of psychology on the players, and you realize that we were chasing Man City just after that and our form started dipping, and that's that. It always happens to Liverpool at the second half of the season. So you understand that it's a very, very good, together with that of Van Dijk, it's very, very good for the team. And mind you, I was not expecting us to replace him with anybody, and I don't even know as at now which other winger we are replacing Salah with. And Kwarawine, Charlie, see, come on, I don't want to talk about it.
Kudus.
See. So moving back to what I'm saying, Kudus is a fine player on all that, but we still need experience in Salah for 2 more years. Now that we are 12 points clear, I think 13 points clear. I think that 4 or more 3 games that we have, I think Southampton, we have Leicester to play. There are not too much games, tough games like that. If we win this league, I think that it will be as a result of just this news. Because psychologically now, I think everybody's happy. The camp is happy. FSG, the league. To me, Arsenal are still chasing. I'm kind of a bit scared still, because anything can happen. Just looking at we losing against Fulham, we have West Ham to play. West Ham are also another side that their form is just like this, wavering. So much inconsistency. So anything can happen. But then again, all in all, I'm very, very excited about this, and it's a very, very, very.
He joined Liverpool. He's gone on to win. He joined Liverpool. He's gone on to win the UEFA Champions League. He's won the Carabao Cup. He's won the Premier League once. He's going to do that for a second time. I mean, there is this debate out there. I mean, we all know of Liverpool's legends. I mean, from Steven Gerrard, from
Rush,
Robbie Fowler. And where are you going to be placing Mohamed Salah in that category, in that group?
Behind the Rush.
That's a tough question.
Is he the greatest Liverpool player of all time? No.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of his contract, he may become. But as of now, he isn't. But he's in the top 3.
He's definitely overtaking.
He's in the top 3. He's my top 3.
He's not overtaking.
I don't want to. Why do you want to push me to say something?
No, because you see, I find
you are asking me for what I think. Allow me to say what I want to say.
Okay.
I beg you.
I beg you. Okay.
Let me cook my agenda. Yeah. See, Gerrard is the guy that made me love Liverpool. He's Mr. Liverpool. So I find it difficult. I'm being biased, but I find it difficult in currently. I don't want to pain. He's in my top 3. I didn't watch Ian Rush play. I always say this. I love the players I watched play. I didn't watch Ian Rush play. I watched Steven Gerrard play. So Gerrard, Mo, and then Robbie Fowler. Yeah. Those are my top 3 Liverpool legends for me. But Ian Rush is definitely the greatest because of his numbers. But see, this is what I have to say. When Salah is done with his contract, he will beat Ian Rush to his record.
I agree with that.
He will beat every single record in the English Premier League. Let us mark it down today. This is Mo Salah's track record. Yeah. He is currently the 5th. Is it the 5th? Yes, joint 5th top goal scorer ever in the Premier League. I think he's about 12 goals behind Wayne Rooney now. And then for Ian Rush and then I think Alan Shearer, it's quite a distance. But come mid next season, Mo Salah will be top 3. Come the end of his contract, I feel he might beat Alan Shearer and become the top goal scorer in the EPL. When it comes to assist record, the assists, he's I think he's 4 assists away from being the topmost assist in a season. He's just 4 assists away. That one, I see Salah, I beg you. The contract has been signed now. 10 up for the last 5 games for me. We need that record before De Bruyne leaves the league. We need it. And I need him to clinch it for me. But talking about Salah as a player, see, I was watching his trajectory. Funny enough, Salah hit the topmost speed he's ever hit at Liverpool this season. And this is a player. This is why sometimes I fight a lot of Liverpool fans that were saying that we need to let him go. He's old and all of that.
All right.
There
So
are some players,
let me just run you through the statistics with regards to the top goal scorers in the English Premier League. So on top of that pile is Alan Shearer with 260 goals. Harry Kane follows with 213. Wayne Rooney is there with 208. Andy Cole is there with 187. Sergio Kun Aguero is tied in 5th spot with Mohamed Salah. So what it means is, and this is something that I'm very, very happy about, the first player to break into that top 5 will be Mohamed Salah, and he's from Africa. The rest are all English players.
Yeah.
This is a
remarkable record. And see, Andy Cole will be pipped. It's just 3 goals.
Yeah.
He will be pipped before the end of the season. Rooney will go into next season. He's the one that I said he has 208. So I think it's just above 20 goals. Yeah, he will surpass Harry Kane. Alan Shearer's record is the one, if he does it, he needs to be mummified. They need to do a mummy for him because it's 260 to 180. That's about 80 goals.
Yeah.
And he needs 2 seasons. That's 40 plus. That's 40 plus.
Premier League.
It
will be
40
difficult
plus
to score
goals.
40 plus goals in every season.
But Salah will always give. If he does it, he needs to be mummified. But see, whatever he does, Salah's legacy at Liverpool is bigger than any Liverpool player in the last 20 years of their history.
Well, that is why I'm actually saying that he might be because let's look at even the top 5 goal scorers in the history of the game. There is no Liverpool player.
That's what I'm saying. That's why So I said he's in my top 3. I just don't want to pin it down because I'm a Gerrard lover boy.
Wow.
So see, whenever I'm speaking, I tell you guys that I am biased. It is my opinion. I am biased. I'm a Gerrard lover boy. I've not said so. He's in my top 3. I've just not positioned any of them who is number 1, number 2, number 3. My top 3 is.
So between him and Salah.
I won't answer that question today. But see, Mo Salah, what I've loved even in this announcement is what the English press is doing. This is something I felt they've not done in so long. They have a good press machinery when it comes to agenda, a cooking agenda, but they've never supported their own players for the Ballon d'Ors and the World Best. Hardly do you see the PR for them. This season, the PR that the English Premier League has done for Mohamed Salah. Go on their Instagram page. See, out of 100 posts, about 60 of them is Mohamed Salah.
You see, the thing is, that was the only way. He is the only selling point.
Exactly.
For the Premier
right
League
now, he's
season.
the face of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So go and watch their last post. When they did within 1 hour, they posted about 15 Salah videos. And I mean, the king sits on the throne. I mean,
that was a good photo for
goodness.
But then this is what Mohamed Salah actually said. He said, "I signed here because I believe we can win a lot of big trophies together, and I'm also happy that his cabinet is looking good. If he wins this Premier League, I mean, not many players win more than one Premier League.
This will be his 7th season.
Yeah."
I think if he wins the Golden Boot, it will be his 5th Golden Boot.
Yeah, but
what 7 seasons, 5 Golden Boots. Come on, I mean, you can't take something. I think he's the greatest foreign national to play in the English Premier League.
Well, for now, we can. If he gets that goal tomorrow, or it's
but
today. Yeah. I mean, not Yaya Toure. Kun Aguero. Kun Aguero. But then let's
joined up with Kun Aguero.
Yeah. So let's move to the games that are coming up today. There are some very interesting games coming up. So the breaking news is that Manchester City have taken the lead against Crystal Palace. Mateo Kovacic has scored right after the break. So Manchester City are leading that game by 3-2. The other
City will play in the Europa. They'll play in the Europa.
Well, so the other games coming up today are Aston Villa will be traveling to the St. Mary's to play an already relegated Southampton. It's sad to see Kamal.
Somebody needs to buy that guy.
It's sad to see Kamal.
When they come, they go. Hey, Southampton.
Yeah. So
Birmingham City has also qualified for the championship. To the
Championship. No, championship.
They've qualified to the championship. They've gone to championship, brother. Okay.
All right. So then we also have Nottingham Forest, who are fighting for a top 4 place. They will be facing Everton. Leicester City would have to beat Brighton to stand a chance of surviving. It's going to be very, very hard for them because
I think the three teams that were promoted will go down.
I said it.
Because look at the point, it's 12 points difference.
Wolverhampton Wanderers are tearing apart.
Shocking revelation, boss. The reason why Leicester City are struggling to create chances and score is because of the injury situation of Fatawi Shao.
Well, we'll see about that. Arsenal will be facing Brentford. Like we said, there might be a lot of changes in that Arsenal team.
I think that we should understand that.
I'm coming. Let me just run through the matches and then now Chelsea will be up against Ipswich Town.
I wanted to talk.
So no, I'll give that to Teddy. I'll give that to Teddy. Wolverhampton Wanderers will face Tottenham, and then Liverpool will be up against West Ham United tomorrow. Newcastle United will also be playing Manchester United, with Bournemouth facing Fulham on Monday evening. Now, Teddy, I mean your own Chelsea. There's still
who are they playing? Look, who are they playing?
They are playing.
They will score Chelsea.
No. You know Liam Delap.
You know Liam Delap.
Okay, so another breaking news, another goal from Manchester City. They are leading. 4-2. Manchester City are leading by 4-2. But then for Chelsea, now let's look at something here. Chelsea have an interesting run to the end of the season. They are currently in 5th position. They have 54 points. They have 53 points, 2 points behind Manchester City, who are winning at the moment, and they are coming up against Ipswich Town. I mean, Teddy, you look at that game. It is very, very important for Chelsea to win that game. How prepared do you think Chelsea will be for this game, especially after traveling all the way to Poland for that game against Legia Warsaw? Should Chelsea place their, should target Champions League football or win the Europa Conference League?
No, we are playing in the Champions League. Therefore, once City is winning Crystal Palace now, we have to take the 3 points against Ipswich. So I am pleading on Enzo Maresca. Please, we need the 3 points. We need the 3 points. So Chelsea is winning.
Chelsea is winning.
Yes, Chelsea is winning.
All right. I mean,
we can't prioritize the Conference League over this one, the Champions League.
Oh no, but the Champions League is your easiest. No, the Conference League is your easiest route to the.
No. You can't decide for us. You can't decide for us. We are playing in the Champions League next season.
The winners of the Conference League.
It's so funny the way you have all written off Fiorentina and think Chelsea is going to win.
Yes. No. But then you see,
it's not even betting. Fiorentina has gone to the Conference League 3 times in a row. They lost against West Ham. They lost to Olympiacos. When they get in their final against Chelsea, they are not going to lose. Yes. They've written Chelsea. Everybody saying, "Oh, their Conference League is for Chelsea."
But Chelsea win the Conference League. But just that we win the 3 points.
All right.
We don't like the Conference League. Though, between the Conference League and the Premier League, or maybe playing the Champions League next season, I think we should, take the Champions League over.
All right, we have some few minutes to wrap up on the show, but then the other games will also see Liverpool will be at West Ham. I mean, West Ham United, they've not really looked that solid. An opportunity for Salah to celebrate his contract extension.
Oh yes, see, it's been a long time he scored a hat trick. Yeah. He should either give us a hat trick or a hat trick of assist. But tomorrow, Is it today or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow is justify your inclusion for Mohamed Kudus. I beg you, play for that transfer. Whether it's to Liverpool or wherever, tomorrow he needs to play for that transfer. So Kudus, if you are listening, I know if Lukman is here, you will listen. Kudus. Thank you.
All right, so Mohamed Kudus would have
about Mohamed Kudus. The last time I saw a happy Kudus against Liverpool, he scored against them at Anfield. He was wearing the Ajax Amsterdam jersey in the UEFA Champions League.
3 seasons ago.
And I've watched him, you know, after the international break. He was sidelined due to some issues, and he came back with an assist. Graham Potter has no option. Tomorrow against Liverpool, if they really want to give Liverpool headache for the EPL title, West Ham, the best for Liverpool will be a draw. Because Salah will be there thinking of celebrating his contract extension. And that Ghanaian boy from Nima, Mohamed Kudus, will also be there fighting for a contract. So to me, I think Mohamed Kudus, player to score or assist. Mohamed Kudus. Thank you.
All right, so we'll definitely be expecting a lot from Mohamed Kudus on Sunday against Liverpool. But then another big match in the English Premier League, we'll see Newcastle United, who are also fighting for a top 4 place. I mean, they are in a very good position to qualify for the UEFA Champions League. They are coming up against Manchester United. Now, we've had a lot of Manchester United in midweek, so I'd love us to listen to Lenny Yoro after that game against Lyon. But then, even with that, there's been some on and off between him and then Nemanja Matic. So what we'll do is that he actually, you know, faltered in that game against Olympique Lyon, considered 2 goals from mistakes. And this is what Ruben Amorim had to say about his goalkeeper after that game against Olympique Lyonnais.
Play football and you play a lot of games, you can make mistakes. And if you look at the season, I make more mistakes than them during these last games and during these last months. So that can happen. The good thing is that we have one more game to change everything. So that should be our focus. The best thing is to look at the goals and all the actions that Andre had in the game, to talk with Vital and Craig and try to. This is the best way to help any player, is to focus on the game, what happened, what we need to improve, and then put the player again.
Well, so that was Ruben Amorim speaking about the performance of Andre Onana in that game against Olympique Lyonnais. Now, Jonathan, let me pick your thoughts on this. I mean, for what has happened in midweek, the talk about Onana's mistakes and all that, struggling, you know, being one of the worst goalkeepers in the history of Man United. In fact, if we have that voice, that Nemanja Matic voice on Onana, let's just listen to what Matic said about Andre Onana.
To say that you need to have cover for something like that. Onana, you know, I respect everyone, but to say that, then you need to get the answer. If you are one of the worst goalkeepers in the Man United history, you need to take care what you are talking. You know, if David De Gea or Peter Schmeichel or Van der Sar say that, then I will question myself. But if you are one of the statistically the worst goalkeepers in Man United modern history, then he needs to show that before he says. So we will see.
Well, so that was Nemanja Matic. So I've heard some ridiculous names being mentioned that are better than Andre Onana. In fact, some say that Richard Ofori is better than Andre Onana. I'm also hearing that Fatau Dauda is better than Andre Onana. Well, we live to see, but Onana is the goalkeeper of Manchester United. I mean, oh, Benjamin Asari too. All right, okay. all right. So, okay, so before, Jonathan, I mean, if you're a coach, from all that has happened, from what Nemanja Matic has said, from, you know, even players around Onana being disappointed from the goal that he conceded over the weekend. I mean, if you are a coach, if you are Ruben Amorim, are you going to be starting Andre Onana in this game against Newcastle United?
So what happened is not anything big for Ruben Amorim to bench Andre Onana. To me, not even only to me. See, when we are talking about goalkeepers, and then even if we are going to tag him as the worst goalkeeper for Manchester United. At the moment, he is the best option for the coach against Newcastle. He is the best option for the coach. If United are not going onto the market to get a new goalkeeper, you can't tell me that you'll be keeping Onana on the bench. So what we have to analyze here is Matic said something. And we are now digging into history to Sergio Romero and De Gea to Schmeichel. These are... So my point is, if you have Andre Onana as your goalkeeper, we shouldn't forget, Manchester United this season can't be individualized. You can't judge their season based on players. Yeah. You have to judge them as a team, because even the coach understood the assignment that he is taking over a depleted side. Because if this side is not depleted, I don't think Erik ten Hag would have been sacked. So he came into a limping club already. He came into a society where it's toxic to the point that even their own grown-up players were not able to stay and survive. So these are guys who came in from places that they were heroes. Andrew Onana was a hero for Inter Milan.
You see,
in a season.
You know, I'm not going to cut you. I'm not supposed to delve into this with you guys. But then there is something that we also have to establish here. When Onana was doing very, very well with Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League. Now, even without him at Inter Milan, look at the results that they are churning out. They are churning out one of the best defense in the competition. So it means that it was the system that was helping Andre Onana. Again, even in that year, Onana didn't really start the season as the #1 choice for Inter Milan. But then it got to a point where Simeone Inzaghi had to shuffle his goalkeeping department. So what he did was that I've forgotten Handanovic. Handanovic was more of the league goalkeeper, with Onana being the UEFA Champions League goalkeeper. Yes, I'm not taking away that the fact that Onana is a goalkeeper, but then maybe we are overhyping the exploits of Andre Onana. Yes.
So you see, with Andre Onana as we speak, we have to cut him some slack, because even Amorim accepts his flaws, that he's been doing mistakes more than these players. And I understand, because if the team is not set yet, if the team is yet to find their feet, we have to give this United, even all the players. I'm saying this because I saw a new coach who came in, his first starting lineup, there was John Evans as the heart of his defense, and they won that game because he came in with a mentality of, these are the guys I have to let them justify their inclusion, because the proper job for Ruben Amorim is going to start next season when he takes over the summer, when he goes on to the transfer window to get some players. That is why you see Dogu playing. That is why you see Dalot playing day in and day out. That is why he will tell that he has issues with Garnacho. That is why he has the guts to let you go if you are even Marcus Rashford. Clearly, he's trying to change the psyche of the club. And with Manchester United, even if a coach comes in and proves that this is a big club, you have to fight for the big trophies. Their legends call the coach that he's naive. We saw what Rooney told him. When he said his target is to win the English Premier League, he didn't say he's going to win it this season because he has seen the team struggling. But the short-term target is the EPL. I don't think it is too huge for United to do.
Win the English Premier League.
Win the English Premier League. Because Manchester City winning the English Premier League under Pep Guardiola, all they needed was what? A good transfer window.
But then, yeah. No. Even
from 2016,
even
2017,
even with Pep Guardiola, it was a winning City team. They had won the league with Mancini. They had won it with Pellegrini before he came. But then you look at Ruben Amorim.
All you need is money.
No, it's not just money. If it is money, Newcastle United should be winning it.
Exactly.
Everton should be winning it.
Everton.
Yeah, there was the Farhad Moshiri moment. The Farhad Moshiri moment. He pumped the money, but then we all saw what was happening. Everton were almost relegated. So it's not just about money. It is about it is about the team also winning.
Yes. Yeah. So we have to cut this United boy some slack. Andre Onana to me is the best man for them.
But then
they have to maintain
don't you think
against Newcastle. It is not even about redeeming himself. This season, their third game under Amorim, all the praises were for who? Andre Onana. From the coach.
No, but then you see.
So goalkeepers have their bad day, and you are tagging him as the worst goalkeeper.
But then to be fair to Nemanja Matic, Onana actually started this forward. Onana went out there to say that United is way better than Olympique Lyonnais.
Yes.
Which in fact is not really the case, because
we also even say
exactly
better than United.
I mean, they've improved. Last season they were very poor.
They are even struggling with managerial issues and also. I mean, their financial crisis. It got to a point they were even threatened that they will be relegated.
Unfortunately, our time is almost up. But then, just briefly on the preparation of the Black Queens to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, I know you guys have been following them. We saw them lose to Senegal. They won one and then lost one. I mean, Marvin, do you think that we are really preparing that war for the Women's Africa Cup?
Okay, so with the Black Queens coming on the back of Nora Hampton, what she did with the team, in 3 games they've won 1, lost 2, and all the margins has been 1-0, 1-0 losses against Senegal. And you understand that I think the tournament is starting in June and we're in July. I'm just happy that at least they've tested themselves a bit, and I think there's a new player in Princess.
Princess Marfo.
Exactly. So we just hope for the best, and we just hope that this Swedish coach could at least help the Queens a bit. And honestly speaking, we are just going to this tournament just to test our legs. I honestly don't see. Oh, it's true. Why are you saying
okay.
I honestly don't see them coming out of the group.
Okay. Since you've said it, Marvin is the prophet.
Come on,
so
they are not coming out of the group.
If you stress on it, we might even get out from the group stage. We beg you, prophet. We beg you, prophet.
What are you going to do again?
All right, Larry.
You have a team that's
enough with that one. Larry, I mean, the Black Said Lives. While we speak about the Black Queens, preparing for the WAFCON, I mean, the Black Said Lives, we've seen what is happening with the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. Very interesting. Some very, very good performances from some of these teams. But then now, let's look at the Black Said Lives. They are preparing ahead of that AFCON U20 Championship. It starts in some few weeks' time. Do you think that we are really prepared? That's one of the first team. Do you think that we are really preparing for this one?
Well, I mean, that team is an exciting team. I think it's one team that might grow up to become a very good senior national team with the way they are being handled. We are not seeing a lot of activity in terms of matches, but I believe the boys are in camp. I think at the Black Stars game, I chanced on them at the stands. They came to watch and they enjoyed the game. They are preparing so well. I'm a little bit disturbed with some players and their lack of playing time. Someone like Chivano, for instance, the story that is bubbling up with his team being relegated and all of that. So, I mean, I think it's good preparation. Me, I always like national teams going into tournament having a very quiet preparation. I feel it does a lot, taking the focus away from them, allowing them to do all the things and correcting every mistake they will do behind the scenes before they even come out there. Desmond is a great coach. Already, he's cementing his place as being very good tactically. And I hope that he's having the best of support he will receive from the FA and the ministry to prepare. And I think it's good news because we also heard that Class A coaching training course is going to happen in Ghana soon. So at least some of the coaches might have a time to do a refresher or even upgrade their status. So I think he will get the best of support. And I only wish the boys turn out good.
All right. Before we even say goodbye, this is what Kim Boy Kogren, the Black Queens coach, had to say after that game against Senegal, that defeat against Senegal.
We changed half of the team between those 2 games, and of course there were many players that haven't played together before. So of course when you put almost a new group together or a new starting 11, that can be a little bit difficult because football is so much about natural relations. If you start to think, then the situation is over. So sometimes you just need to let the feet play the game, and I felt we didn't.
All right, so that was the coach of the Black Queens. On that note, it's been another intriguing 2 hours of sports here on Z101.9 FM. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment, and thanks to...
For 2 weeks. Let me give shout outs.
Of course, I mean...
I am back.
Okay.
So,
another,
last 2 weeks...
Wedding.
Oh, it wasn't a wedding. It wasn't a wedding. There's one cooking, but this wasn't a wedding.
Okay.
Anyway, so last 2 weeks I was at a humanitarian activity. We're doing free NHIS registration. So I want to say shout outs to them. We are called the Leo Clubs of Ghana.
Okay.
We are the Alliance International. We are a humanitarian organization. Okay. So shout outs to all Leos, and they are listening.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you to all the Leos for the good job that you're doing. But then, unfortunately, this is all time will allow us on Z101.9 FM. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Thanks to Larry. Thanks to Jonathan. Thanks to Marvin the Prophet. And, of course, thanks to Teddy. So next week, we'll definitely be back with some more UEFA Champions League action. But for now, it is bye-bye.